Hello, it's Shane here from Travellers Boxes TV. We're lucky enough to be joined by Tom Not So Little, the future heavyweight king. We got the big heavyweight showdown coming up with Lucas Brown live on Channel 5 at the York Hall, Bethnal Green. There's very few tickets still available if anyone is interested in going to the big heavyweight showdown. Obviously, you're not shy to being fighting on big fights on TV. You've done it in the past. What's your thoughts on fighting someone like Lucas Brown on such a big fight on terrestrial television?
Do you know what? It's a good fight for this point. It's a good make or break fight. It's a good fight to be put out on terrestrial telly for me because I don't. I look at it as such a winnable fight, such a good step out to show what I can do, and the sort of opponent Lucas is for me. I believe he does nothing but make me look good on the night. So yeah, I'm buzzing for it. I love big fights. I love big stages. I know it's hard to say that when you're fighting. People like discrediting York Hall. York Hall is the most credible boxing venue. It's the home of British boxing, if you ask me. So to have a big crossroads fight for me in such a iconic venue, it means like everything's sinking into place very well. If you ask me.
Also, it's good for the fans because if you can't afford a good, expensive ticket, no matter where you sit in there, you've got a good seat in the house as well, haven't you? So
yeah, there's not a bad seat in the house. You're right on top of the action, no matter the minute you walk through the door. And the only thing is, there's going to be blood risks because I'm gonna split him wide open.
So don't wear your expensive shirts or dresses down there because you might not be able to get the stains out.
No, either that or I will be, with every ticket I sell, I will be selling I will be giving a free package of Vanish.
Oh, there you go.
Or Civic Bang.
They're not sponsoring you, are they? Or
Civic Bang. Bang and Brown is gone.
Civic Bang or Vanish, if you're watching this,
hit me up.
Hit me up.
I'm cheap.
Twitter, Tom Not So Little. Facebook, Tom Little. But yeah, massive fight for you. Obviously, another person that's not new to the big stage is Lucas Brown. He's won on away territory before in Russia, in Grozny against Shagayev. He's beaten Richard Towers in the UK before. He's fought in big fights here. I know that the other big fights didn't go down very well for him. But he's a man with a lot of experience and something you can't take lightly on a night.
I don't take no one lightly. I know I give stick. I know I do what I do, but that's not an inkling for 1 second that I'm ever taking him lightly. We're all said and done, the man's a former world regular champion, but listen, that there means nothing to me. He's a human being with skin, bone, and a pair of boxing gloves on, and just. I think he's got one of them faces. He looks like he'd be insulted if I miss him.
Yeah.
If I don't hit him, he'll be insulted. So
I think you should feel insulted, to be honest.
if I do miss him, I will consider retirement.
How important do you think it is that people like yourself, people like Joe Saunders, people like Tyson Fury, obviously all travelling background, and Hughie Fury as well, are getting this TV coverage, they're getting the chance on the big stage with good paydays to come with it as well. And not just that, it's the exposure. I mean, terrestrial television, I don't think there's been a Channel 5 fight in the past 2 years that hasn't been watched by over 2.5 million people. And then obviously you've got the big TV figures on BT and on Sky as well. How important do you think it is that people from travelling communities are getting that kind of exposure?
I think, do you know what? It's very good for not just ourselves, because obviously the money's brilliant, and it's good for our culture to show the younger lads that there's more to life than going up and down, that they can pursue. Because you have a look through the amateur boxing scene, it's rife, national champion after national champion, all coming from travelling background. Yeah. All travelling lads run amateur boxing, so it's showing that listen, it can be done, and you ain't got to go to work laying driveways, cutting trees, or doing whatever else they're doing. That you can stick what you want to do out, and there's really good money to be earned. You don't have to go down that traditional road of that's it. I'm 18. I'm driving. No time for boxing. If you see the boxing thing through, it will pay you very well. So listen, for that, I'm grateful, and not so much myself because the level I box at is nothing compared to Billy Joe and Tyson and even Yui, but at all levels, boys are making good money, and that's the main thing. That's the whole reason we get into this job, to provide for our families, to make sure that we can give our family the best life that we could possibly give them. And what better way to do it by doing something you love? And I don't know one travelling lad that don't love fighting.
Of course. I mean, do you feel like there's a certain pressure that you, Billy Joe, Huey Fury, and Tyson Fury have to set an example to these kids up and coming? You're speaking through the amateurs that they can go on to the pros, they can earn life changing money, they can have a good future, and they can also win big titles just like any other fighter.
Yeah, like it's one of the we're living in a time now where like boys ain't getting held back because of the exposure. If you can fight, you can fight. Where a lot of years ago, boys didn't get picked for certain things, didn't get put on telly. People were worried about the supporters coming out and breaking out. Let's be honest, let's be real. Travellers ain't got the best reputation as far as causing trouble are concerned. Some justified, some not justified. There's good and bad in all walks of life. But now you look, there's Felix Cash, there's so many good, there's young Charles Frankham coming through, there's that young Doherty lad, there's that young McCann boy.
Yeah, he's very good amateur.
You know what? He's a very good fighter.
Yeah,
a very good fighter.
I've heard good things like that.
So it's literally now they're getting the chances, they're getting the exposure, which means people are opening up to them and just taking them on the face value, that judging them by what they can do in a boxing ring first, and not by where they come from, because it has been it might not, the average man might not see it and might think, listen, just complaining, but it ain't. It's not like that. It's genuinely, when you're used to having doors slammed in your face, because of where you come from, it becomes a Rico out, and it can put people off of wanting to pursue something because they think, I ain't gonna get anywhere. But now they can see. I don't look at myself as like a road, because listen, the last footsteps probably someone that's follow as mine, but because I've took chances and I've done what I've had to do, and there's lads out there that's much more talented than I am that can make a go out of boxing. I've dragged myself up in boxing from the belly up. I've had no help outs, no handouts, no nothing. That's the one thing I am proud of. That I've had no help, no nothing. Where I've got myself, I've got myself. I ain't got myself far, but I've got myself here.
Yeah.
But these young boys, they can really go and do something and lead on and go and win massive titles.
And do you think that shows that, like you said, you did it yourself as well, and you're still earning big paydays, and not just that, obviously you've suffered a few defeats, and it's not the end of you. If anything, it was the making of you as a fighter as well. So so a loss, which can happen to anyone in boxing, and it's happened to some of the best fighters of all time, isn't the end. Sometimes it's just the beginning. And also that if you don't get the big promotional opportunities, it doesn't mean you can't still earn big money and get big titles.
Listen, if you've got a record and you're going, listen, which every I'm only speaking about, I'm not just speaking about travelers, I'm speaking about majority of fighters in general. If you've got hold of your own career, whether you've got a big promotional deal or not, big promoters will need you, because big promoters need people who are game to fight and who are willing to step up to the plate. Now, speaking for travelling lads alone, that's what they do best. They're willing to step up, willing to fight hard fights, because coming through a good amateur pedigree, especially, never mind the background, you're used to fighting top lads week in, week out. So where they've done it from such a young age, it's nothing for them to take a 50-50 fight. Do you know what I mean? So it's literally one of them things they ain't got to be shy. If they don't get a big deal straight away, if you're in good hard fights and you're showing your worth in them, you'll always be worked with.
So how important is it to have someone like Tyson Fury from the travelling community, who you'd have to say now is a top 3 earner, and not just earner, arguably in the pound for pound list as well, as a fighter, and now he's rated #1 in the Ring magazine as well, which is probably the most reliable rankings in boxing. To have that guy for the young travelling community to look up to, and not even just the young travelling community, it's the travelling community as a whole. And he's not just that; he's one of the most famous people on the planet now as well. And he's had his times where he's fallen down, hit rock bottom, and come back a stronger and even better man from it. So how important is it to have that figure to the travelling community?
Do you know what? It's massive as a community to have someone like that. It's very makes you very proud to be part of that culture. To have someone like that lead it. Like you, I've said this a lot of times. I know this is going to sound quite not disrespectful, but you have a look at the sizes of races, like the black minority, the white average person, Chinese, Asian. Travellers are probably the smallest population.
Yeah,
out
definitely.
of all of them, and look how much success we have through the few fighters that we got: Isaac Lowe, Billy Joe, all the other young, Tyson Fury, in all weight classes. Andy Lee, all of them succeed and do well at whatever level they progress to. And if you're talking numbers game, that's massive. And when you say like Tyson's #1, so that shouldn't be just his story on a whole is inspirational to mankind, not just to the race that he comes from. That's inspirational. No matter who you are, you can draw inspiration from him. So yeah, it do make you very, very proud.
Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, there's a bit of news recently that he had offered Callum Smith a 50-50 deal, which in my eyes, which is, who am I to say? But at the end of the day, Billy Joe going into that fight is definitely the bigger name. Billy Joe going into that fight has definitely had the better wins. Obviously, Eubank Jr., Lemieux, to say the least, Blandamura, amongst other fights. I mean, Spike O'Sullivan, John Ryder, you name it, he pretty much beat them. And look at John Ryder now, he's smashing everyone to pieces. And you've got Callum Smith, who really has only had one really notable win. And don't get me wrong, it's a great win over George Groves, but that's really
that's
all.
The big, that's it. And how much did George Groves really have to give then? I don't
think he was fully fit for either, because I think his shoulder was still gone, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, I wouldn't discredit Callum completely by saying George was still, but the truth is a truth and a lie is a lie. George was towards the end of it. He was on the fade. He's had a long career. He's had a hard career, and that was it really. I don't think he fought the best George Groves ever.
No.
But he done a very good job of him. I'm not disputing Callum's place in where he's at. I think he's definitely one of the best super middles about. But Billy Joe's been more than fair, I think, in offering him the 50-50. I think more than fair, especially when you put it in the way that you did, when you look at their names, look at the resumes. Look, Billy Joe's a 2-weight world champion. Like, what else? How can you not even come back with a counter offer?
And you got to think, when he fought Lemieux, that was watched by a lot of people, and that was live on HBO as well. So it's not just the UK audience; it's the American audience that Billy Joe brings in, because the fight would also be on ESPN Plus if it's on BT, and I'm assuming if it was the other way around on Sky, it would be on DAZN. But either way, they'd be there to watch Billy Joe and not Callum Smith.
Of course. Listen, Billy Joe's the bigger draw out of the two. Do you know what I mean? You will, and that is it. I'd personally myself, I'd rather see Billy Joe fight one of the other names like a Golovkin or a Canelo back at middleweight. Personally myself, but either way they're all big fights, and I just hope one of them, one of them three names, grow a set, and because Dubois game to fight and he needs to fight, he needs the big fight. You will not see the best of Billy Joe until he fights the best of belt.
Yeah.
Now I can tell you from knowing him personally, from knowing what's saying, he gets better as he goes on.
Well, yeah, I mean his best performance of his career was against his hardest opponent, and he didn't get touched all night. So.
Exactly, and that's just that's a testament to his mentality. If he's got something where he thinks I need to pull it out, you will see him. Billy Joe got more gears than a mountain bike. Honestly, he genuinely can. He can go up and down gears like you wouldn't believe, and especially when he knows that he's up there. When he fought Chris Eubank, he should not have been in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
He should not have been in a row. The way he had to make weight was disgusting. Like literally drained himself. When you say someone's weight drained, he was weight drained, and he's learned a lot about how to do his weight. Now I think you will see the best Billy Joe out there, especially now he's with Ben and everything. Him and Ben got a brilliant relationship. Ben, I've said for a long time, I think Ben's one of the best trainers about. But for my money, he's the best trainer in Britain, definitely, bar none.
I mean, also, how important is Ben Davidson all in all this? Because I mean, we just spoke about travelling boxers being successful. I mean, three travelling boxers that are definitely up there is Isaac Lowe, who's world rated now. Billy Joe Saunders. Tyson Fury, and obviously he used to train himself. I mean, that's all four of the bigger boys that are out there at the moment in travelling boxers.
He had to go through something to be able to do that. He had to sit a 48-hour crash course in becoming an overnight gypsy.
Yeah. He had to pass the test, yeah?
He had to pass the test.
And how well did he do in it?
He done well. He prepared an head jog in just under an hour.
Oh, that's all right.
But that was all right. He skinned 4 rabbits and prepared them in I think it was 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And then he shot four clothes pegs off of a washing line with 4 shots with a cap hold. So yeah, that was it. And he went out stealing diesel. So yeah, he done very well. Didn't get caught.
Just before I forget, actually, we have one more big travelling boxer to actually talk about this weekend. Nathan Gorman, Daniel Dubois. I can't believe I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's a big fight. Another heavyweight showdown for the travelling community.
I don't really want to talk about Daniel Dubois, it's a bit of a sore subject.
Yeah, and I do you know what? Nathan Gorman looking very well in training, good shape. Daniel Dubois looking the same as ever. What's your predictions ahead of this fight? And also, do you think the travelling community will come out in big support for Nathan for this fight as well?
Definitely, 100%. 100%. We're going to go and beat the place up. No, I'm not joking. No, listen, it's one of them fights you've got to commend both of them for taking the fight at this point. Because it's a big fight. Is it bigger than the British title? Listen, for me, I think the British title is one of the most prestigious titles to have in boxing. But, in saying that, fair play to him. And I look to see Nathan do the job and do it. I think he's very slick. And if I had to fight Dubois again, I said this the day after I boxed him, injuries aside and everything, I'd close the gap and fight him inside, and that's one thing that Nathan Gorman's very good at, boxing on the inside, fighting on the inside, and Daniel Dubois don't carry the same power that in close than what he do at the end of his reach. That's where I made a big mistake with him. I see at the end of his arms too long. Obviously I had my own niggles and that going on. I weren't really thinking of offence, if I'm honest with you. But it's what it is, and I know Nathan's going to bring it home. And listen, just another big massive win. this is the same thing again though. Daniel Dubois did the A-boy. Listen, they're both under the same banner, but I can tell you Frank wants to win.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. I mean, you got one that he's invested crazy amounts of money into, and one that he hasn't really. Ricky Hatton invested most of the money into him. And
yeah. So, yeah, you looking at it that's nothing against Frank. Like Frank's doing what Frank does best, and which he's done pretty much at the top of the tree as far as British promoting's concerned for a good number of years. The man's a businessman, but Frank don't lose in this.
yeah,
Frank's got one to rebuild, and he's got one young man to push on for bigger things. So Frank don't lose in it. It's a very good fight. It's a very, very good fight. The only one thing I would say is I just hope Nathan don't get caught coming in, because he's got a big gap to close with him. But listen, no, I don't need to say it. The world can see it. He's a slick fighter. He's got very good upper body movement.
Okay, everyone. It's massive thanks for having Tom Little on the channel today. It's really good to get him on ahead of his massive showdown with Lucas Brown. Tickets are still available at York or Bethnal Green. Not many left though, so if you are interested and you can get down, then make sure you snap them up ASAP. And also, if you can't make it, it'll be live on Channel 5 as well. And a massive good luck for the rest of training camp, which I know you've not got long left of, for Lucas Brown. And then, boom, comes the big KO from Not So Little.
Bang, bang!